The aroma of home-cooked dinner lingered in the air as Mark settled at the table, his weariness from a long day's work momentarily forgotten. His wife, Sarah, had always been an excellent cook, and tonight was no exception. He glanced at her, offering a grateful smile before digging into the meal she had prepared with love. Or so he thought. As he savoured the flavours, a strange bitterness invaded his senses. At first, he dismissed it as a peculiar spice Sarah might have experimented with. But with each bite, the bitterness intensified, leaving an unpleasant taste lingering on his tongue. Concern creased Sarah's brow as she watched him eat. "Is something wrong, honey?" she asked, her voice laced with worry. Mark forced a smile, pushing aside his growing unease. "No, it's delicious, just a bit different tonight," he replied, trying to mask the bitterness in his voice. But his stomach churned with discomfort, and a wave of dizziness washed over him. Panic gripped his heart as he realized something was terribly wrong. His gaze flickered to Sarah, her expression now masked with a strange mix of Before he could confront her, darkness enveloped him, and he collapsed onto the floor, consciousness slipping away like grains of sand through his fingers. When Mark regained awareness, it was to the sound of frantic voices and the sterile scent of a hospital room. His head throbbed with pain, and his limbs felt heavy as if weighed down by invisible chains, blinking against the harsh fluorescent lights. He struggled to piece together the events that had led him. Sarah stood by his bedside, her eyes red-rimmed with tears. "Oh, thank God, you're awake," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. Confusion clouded Mark's mind as he struggled to form coherent thoughts. "What happened?" He managed to croak, his voice hoarse and raspy. Tears spilled down Sarah's cheeks as she recounted the horrifying truth. I poisoned you, Mark," she confessed, her words like a dagger to his heart. "I couldn't bear the thought of losing you to her." Her words echoed in his mind, sending shockwaves through his already fragile state. "To who?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "To her," Sarah whispered, her gaze flickering to the doorway where their daughter, Emily, stood, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and sorrow. Mark's heart shattered into a million pieces as the pieces of the puzzle fell into place. Sarah's jealousy, her irrational fears. She had been driven to such desperate measures by her own insecurities. As the gravity of Sarah's actions sank in, Mark felt a wave of betrayal wash over him. How could she betray his trust in such a callous manner? How could she put their daughter through such turmoil? But amidst the pain and anger, a glimmer of gratitude surfaced. For it was Emily who had found him unconscious on the kitchen floor, her quick thinking and unwavering love saving him from a fate worse than death. Emily approached the bedside, her eyes brimming with tears. "I'm so sorry, Dad," she choked out, her voice thick with emotion. Mark reached out, his hand trembling as he cupped her cheek. "You have nothing to apologize for, sweetheart," he whispered, his voice filled with love and gratitude. "You saved my life." In that moment, amidst the shattered pieces of their family, a bond stronger than steel was forged. For even in the darkest of times, love had prevailed, lighting the way towards healing and forgiveness. As Mark lay in his hospital bed, surrounded by the wreckage of betrayal, he knew that with Emily by his side, he would find the strength to rebuild what had been broken and emerge stronger than ever before.